Good morning, class. Welcome to the online classes of physics of class 12. In the last class, we have seen that what were the semiconductors. Semiconductors were some devices which acts behave as both conductor as an insulator. So that is on the 0 Kelvin. But if we have to increase the temperature or increasing temperature, we can increase the conductivity of the semiconductors. Like if we see, then the conductivity of the conductors are very more, and that in the insulator it is very less, means they are not at all conductor. So insulators, there would be some chances that the free electrons are very less, and if we talk about conductors, then the free electrons are very more. That's why they behave as a pure conductors. So these conductors and the insulators will have the charge carriers, that is electrons, number of free electrons. So the number of free electrons, the semiconductor will be in between the conductor and an insulator. So on increasing the temperature, we can just increase the conductivity of the semiconductor. So semiconductor is something which have the two types of the charge carrier, one were holes and other one was electrons. We can say that one is negative and the positive charge, but we will see that the holes are just a vacant space given by the electron. So when they jump out by their space, when they get in sufficient energy, so they will leave their space, and that vacant space given by the electron will be considered as an hole. So that vacant space or a void given by an electron will be considered as a hole. So there are two types of charge carriers, that is one will be electron and the other will be holes, and the current will flow due to the both of the charges, that is the both of the charges will movement, we will see that the current will be flowing. So there are different types of semiconductor devices that we use in our electronics area. We know that to increase the conductivity of the semiconductors, we have to add some impurities. In that basis, we have seen that the intrinsic and the extrinsic semiconductors are there. Intrinsic means that the pure semiconductors like silicon, germanium and all. If we talk about the extrinsic semiconductors, means to increase the conductivity, we have to increase the temperature. But the other thing is that charge carriers to give the excess number of electrons or a hole, means we have to increase the hole, or to increase the electron we have to give some impurity to it, and that impurity, if you want electron, then its valency should be more than that of the valency of the silicon, and if you want the hole, that means the valency of that impurity should be less than that of the semiconductor's valency. Like we know that the semiconductor valency is 4, that means if we want electron, then we should have the 5 valency atom, and if we talk about a hole, that means the valency of that atom should be less than that of the 4, means 3 electron. So that is what the formation of the impurities, like what we have to add in that semiconductor. So to increase or to give a excess number of electrons, we will add a pentavalent impurity. For example, we can add a phosphorus or antimony. And if we talk about a trivalent impurity, that means its valence is less than that of the germanium or a silicon. So it will give a void space, which means it will provide a excess number of holes to the semiconductor. So we will see that to increase the excess number of electrons, we have added the pentavalent impurity, and to increase the number of the holes, we have added the trivalent impurity. On the basis of this impurities addition, we know that the semiconductors will be of two types, that is one will be the p-type semiconductor, and the other one will be n-type semiconductor. So we know this p and the n-type semiconductors will be, one will be positive and the one will be the negative when we will talk about that p and n. So on biasing, we will see that how they will be connected and how they can act as a electrons excessness or due to that of the holes. So there are the different electronic devices or semiconductor devices which we will be studying in the chapter will be diodes, that is a two-terminal device which are made up of a semiconductor. That means one, it will be a positive terminal, and the second one will be the negative terminal. So how it will be used and the diodes, how it is formed. So the first diode which was given by the semiconductor by using these two types of semiconductors P and N, and on just joining this P and N, we get a P-N type semiconductor, P-N junction, that is P-N diode. And the second one, that is light emitting diode, by giving a coating of some other kind of a semiconductor, they were like gallium arsenide and gallium phosphides. By giving the coating of it, we can give the different colors to the LED also. So we will study LEDs, means we will study this construction and the working principle its uses, and after that we will say solar cell also and photodiodes also. So in your term 2 portion. These are the topics which you have to read from this chapter. Okay, so today we are going to see that how this energy band gaps, we have seen that the energy band gaps are between the conductors and the insulator. That means semiconductor will be in between of the conductor and insulator. So what this energy band looks like, or what is the use of the energy band gaps, we will see now. So energy band gaps are something like it is the energy which you are providing to the electron so that it can get sufficient energy and can move to the conduction band. Conduction band means there the electron will be ready to move, and due to that the current can flow in a semiconductor. So there are T means you can say that three levels you will be seeing in an energy band gap. That the lower level which you will be seeing in the down and the x-axis, that is the valence band, and on the top of it you will see the conduction band, and in between that the gap which you can see for a conductor, insulator, or for a semiconductor. You can even see for metals and non-metals also. So in between that we can see the gap which is known as an energy band gap, and this energy band gap is also known as Fermi level energy. It is known as forbidden energy gap. So there are different names. We will be studying different things also in the energy band gap. So firstly, we can say that in an atom you may have seen the cell structure also in the chemistry. That is the outermost shell, there will be a valence electron, and these valence electrons are very free to move because they are less bounded by the nucleus. So they are free to move, and they are able to move. Means if they get the energy, or if you provide an energy to that electron, they can just jump out from their place, and they will give a empty space to that, and there we can get the holes. That means there in the down there will be a valence band, and in this valence band there are number of free electrons present in the valence band, and as if you provide an energy to that of the valence band, these free electrons or the valence electrons in the valence band will get energy, and they will jump out from the valence band to that of the conduction band. But the band gap between these conduction and the valence band will tell us that how much energy we have to give to the electron so that they can jump out from the valence to that of the conduction band. And as these electrons will get a sufficient energy, they will jump from this valence band and will move to the condense band. Now when they move to the conduction band, that means they will be in the lower level in the conduction band, because they cannot move to the highest level in the conduction by giving the energy. So they will be coming to the lower level in the conduction band. But in the valence band, the electrons will be in the higher level. So as they get the energy, they will jump out from the valence band to the conduction band. When they jump to the conduction band, there will be an empty space of the electron in the valence band. So there will be holes. So what we can say that after giving the energies, or after the jumping of the electrons, we can say that in the conduction band there will be a free electrons, and in the down one, that is the valence band, in that the number of holes will be produced. But at first the valence band will have only the electrons and the conduction band will be empty. But as we provide some energy, these conduction band will get electrons. By getting energy, they will jump to the conduction band, and in the valence band, due to that empty space of the electrons, we will get holes. So now this is what the diagram for the insulators, conductors, and the semiconductors. Remember that the energy band, the down one, bottom one, you can see here that the band will be considered as a valence band, and in the top one you can see that it is a conduction band. So we know that as we will get electrons in the conduction band, so conduction means what it will be like, electrons can move and can conduct the electricity. That means it may be in conductor or it may be in a semiconductor. When it is filled totally, that means the conduction band will fill. That means there are number of free electrons in excess, and they can give a conducting current, means they can give a dynamic current, because static current was due to the number of the charges accumulation, not by the moving electron. So here the conduction band will have a total number of free electrons that can move and can give us a conduction current. So if you see the last one, that is in the conductors, the valence band and the conduction band. In the valence band, the number of the electrons will move easily, means there is no energy will be given to the conductor, and no necessary for the sufficient energy for the movement of the electrons. They will, even in the less temperature or at the 0 Kelvin also, the free electrons will be moving out from the valence band to that of the conduction band. So there is no energy band gap is shown in the conductor. So the energy band gap will be almost 0. That means there is overlapping in the conduction band and the valence band. That means if you will be asked about the conductor's energy band gap, then you can say that the band and the valence band are overlapped in the conductors. That means there is no energy band gap, means no energy sufficient to require to move that of the electrons. They can easily move at a 0 degree, means at a 0 Kelvin temperature, or without any pressure or without any temperatures. That means external source is not required to move this electron from the valence to that of the conduction band. So there is no energy band gap. And if we talk about semiconductor devices or an insulator, firstly see the insulator in the left side, that it is the energy band gap. You can see this full valence band, and you can see that the empty conduction band, means every atom will have an outermost shell and the number of the electrons will also be present in the outermost shell. So there is electrons in the valence band, but if you provide an energy also, but the energy band gap is that much that you cannot give an energy and you cannot make these electrons to move from the valence band to that of the conduction band. Okay, so the valence band cannot get that much energy, means if you provide the energy also, the gap is that much that they cannot move out from the valence band to that of the conduction band. That means the electrons cannot get to the conduction band and the current cannot flow in the any type of insulators. But if you talk about the semiconductors, you can see that the band gap is in between that of the conductors and that of the insulators, means band gap is more than the conductor and less than that of the insulators. So we know that the overlapped condition in the conductor, and we have seen that the energy band gap is very more in the insulator. So we know that the energy band gaps are given as a 0 in the conductor, and if we talk about an insulator, it's more than 9 electron volt. But if we talk about a semiconductor, it is almost in between, like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, not more than that. It will be similar to that of the 1 electron volt. So if we talk about semiconductor devices, there are fully present a valence band, means as an insulator it will also have a full valence band. And if we talk about a conduction band, it is almost empty, but the energy band gap is that much small that if we provide a sufficient energy, the electrons will start jumping to that from the valence band to the conduction band, and as they jump there will be holes in the valence band, and as they got to the conduction band there will be a excess of electrons in the conduction band. So we can say that energy band gap is very small in semiconductors. So by providing energy like pressure, temperature and external source, we can get the conduction band fully get by the valence band from the electrons, and then we will get two types of charge carriers, that is in the by taking the energy as the electrons jump to the conduction band, we will get holes in the valence band and we can get electrons in the conduction band. So this means you can say that the energy band gap between the valence band and the conduction band, that is given as forbidden energy gap. At low temperatures we know that the valence band will be fully cleared with the excess of electrons, and we know that the conduction band will be fully empty because we have not given that much energy. That means at the 0 temperatures, mean very low temperatures, as we provide the temperatures, the electrons in the valence band can jump out to the conduction band. So we can know that at the low temperatures, at 0 Kelvin, we have seen that the semiconductor behaves as an insulator, means there will be an empty conduction band. That means in the conduction band there will be no electrons at the 0 Kelvin for the semiconductors. And as you provide energy like thermal energy, then the electrons at the lower means at the highest valence band, they will get an energy sufficient to that of 1 electron volt, and they will try to jump out from this valence band to the lower conduction band. Okay. So we will get some electrons in the conduction band as they jump out from the valence to that of the conduction band, and some holes will be provided in the valence band, because as the electrons jump out from the valence band, the vacant space will be there, we will get the holes. So at the 0 Kelvin, the electrons sit at lowest energy levels and the valence band in the highest filled band, and we know that as they move to the conduction band, it will sit at the lowest energy levels, means in the valence band it will be the highest band, and for the conduction band it will be the lowest band. Means in the, like here in the picture you can see that they are sitting at the top of the valence band, and as you provide the energy they will be moving to the lower band of the conduction band. Okay, so as the electrons jump out from their place, there will be positive particles, means that the holes, that is vacant space of the electrons, will get. So we can say that it is a vacant space of an electron, but we know that both are required for the conduction of a current in a semiconductor. So both the charge carriers are required. So we know that we'll try to contribute the current in the valence band by the holes, and we can get the current contribution in the conduction band by the free electrons that have jumped out from the valence band, by getting a sufficient energy equal to that of the energy band gap. So remember this, that for silicons the energy band gap will be 1.1, and if you talk about of a germanium, it will be 0.7 electron volt. So always it will be in between 0.8, 0.9 and 1.1, 1.2. So we used to write it as similar to that of the 1 electron volt. So in semiconductors, we can say that we need only 1 electron volt for jumping of electrons from the valence band to that of the conduction band. Okay, so this is what the forbidden energy gap. You can see here the holes are there on the top of the valence band and electrons are in the down of the conduction band. So the energy band gap tells us that how much energy or an electron volt is required for the electrons or two, so that they can jump from the lower valence band to that of the conduction band. Okay, so this is what the energy band gaps. In the next class we will be seeing how this p type and n type semiconductors will be formed, and mostly we will be seeing it in the live classes itself, so that you can understand the diagrams also. Now I can tell you, but it will be not like how to construct that diagram, so we will be seeing in the live classes itself. So thank you class. In the further classes we will be seeing the further topics.